by.
Leroy, 7-1. We are sending support to the location.
Zulu 6. Platforms are inbound.
Oh my goodness, folks, this is huge. We are now getting word that the enemy flotilla has begun their attack. Oh no! Incoming! Ladies and gentlemen, I direct your attention straight across the channel to the south as two sleek helicopters, better known as MH-6 Leopards, from the 60th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, are fast approaching with 12 elite Special Operations personnel on board. That includes operators from the United States, Qatar, Poland, and Sweden. With nerves of steel for the mission ahead and with a swift descent, those little birds are gracefully hovering above two towering buildings, one across the canal and the Tampa Convention Center over here behind you. These are the perfect vantage points to offload two of our security personnel and two of our call for fire coordinators. SOCOM has a distinct advantage in this fight, as a SEAL delivery vehicle, better known as an SDV, was launched in advance from Sparkman Wharf to conduct a subsurface reconnaissance of the objective. Meanwhile, we've just received word that a flotilla of enemy ships deep in Tampa Bay are making their way to the Tampa Convention Center. They're trying to disrupt our efforts for peace and stability across our area of operation. The commander of Tampa has instructed the call for fire coordinators to call in specialized fixed-wing aircraft capable of destroying this armada of enemy ships. Considered the best trained and best equipped Air Force in the world, two of the Air Force's fastest fixed-wing aircraft, the F-35, will streak across the sky in a breathtaking display of speed and agility. These F-35s are being flying low. These two F-35s are going to be flying low at 1,000 feet above ground level. They're going to roar overhead, eliciting gasps of fear and desperation as they seek to destroy the enemy ahead. So cover your ears as the thunderous sound of destruction facing our enemy reverberates through the beautiful Tampa Bay air, sending shivers of fear down the spines of our enemies. As they're setting up for that attack, you see the incredible maneuverability from those AH-6 little birds from 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. As you can see, we've got special operators poised on what we call the skids on either side of that little bird. Those are the most maneuverable and amazing aircraft that we have in the 160th to be able to insert teams into very tight spaces, into alleyways in different places across the world. And today we got a chance to have put a couple of operators over there on the Tampa General Hospital roof to help us call for fire, as well as a recon team back behind you on top of the Tampa Bay Convention Center, the TCC. Now, folks, you heard me talk about these F-35s. This is the time to get out and get that video going, because you're going to love seeing these two F-35s rip through the blue skies at Tampa Bay. I'm going to go ahead and tell you now, because it's going to be loud here in about 25 seconds, that in perfect synchronization behind that F-35 is going to be an AC-130 Juliet gunship, commonly referred to as Spooky, due to its accuracy and lethality. With precision timing, the F-35s and the AC-130 Juliet gunship will take their positions, scanning the horizon with keen eyes, ready to neutralize any threat. As I mentioned, folks, that F-35 ripped through, and now as you look on the same flight path, you're going to see an AC-130 Juliet gunship, commonly referred to as Spooky. These are some of the most devastating close air support missions and techniques that we have within our area of operations. They're going to be able to take out this enemy force and give us good overhead cover. If you look over here to the west, you'll see coming over the Tampa Convention Center that AC-130 Juliet gunship. You'll see some of those guns prickling out of the side of it that are ready to give us close air support, danger close, to all of our friendly forces here. As these fixed-wing aircraft continue their accelerating maneuvers, the enemy below is stunned by the spectacle unfolding before their eyes. Adrenaline courses through their veins as they witness the convergence of precision, speed, and skill, a testament to the prowess of those who defend against tyranny with unparalleled expertise. Oh no, ladies and gentlemen, just when you thought it was over, look above the Tampa Convention Center. In a heart-pounding turn of events, an enemy drone swarm is descending upon the convention center, threatening chaos and danger. Whoa, hold on, wait a minute. I'm not sure, but I think those drones are equipped with what looks to be small mortar shells on the bottom. Let's hope the drones don't get close enough to the shoreline to do any lasting damage. Wait a minute, fear not. I'm being told our brave and innovative Special Operations Forces are swiftly leaping into action. I want to direct your attention over to the air above the Westin and American Social. As you can see, we still have that AC-130 Juliet gunship on station providing close air support, but that drone swarm is not something we're going to call Spooky in on. We need some brave and valiant Marine Special Operations Raiders to come in and help us take care of this drone swarm. Hold on, what's this? Over in the air above the Westin, here comes our Marine Corps Special Operations Forces. They're coming to our aid utilizing cutting-edge augmented parachute systems. Watch as they soar into the fray with unparalleled agility and determination. As those enemy drones close in, our fearless Special Operations Marines unleash a barrage of non-kinetic effects, deploying advanced countermeasures to disrupt and disable the hostile swarm of drones. With lightning-fast reflexes and unmatched precision, they maneuver through the chaos, turning the tide of battle in our favor. The air crackles with energy as our forces engage the enemy with unwavering resolve, driving them back with a combination of skill, strategy and sheer determination. Victory hangs in the balance as the enemy drones are forced into retreat. Their nefarious plans thwarted by the heroic efforts of our brave defenders. In the aftermath of this intense skirmish, let's give it up for our Marine Corps Special Operations Forces as we emerge victorious in our defense. Let's give it up and wave to our Marine Corps Special Operations Forces as they come by one more time. Their courage and ingenuity shining brightly in the face of adversity. Once again, they have proven that innovation, determination, and unity, we can overcome any challenge that dares to threaten our way of life. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the Garrison Channel Bridge. Hover low over the water, where our Navy SEALs from the United States and Sweden stood ready at the open doors and plunged into the beautiful Tampa Bay River. Hillsborough River, I should say. With a swift nod from that aircraft commander, they leapt into the abyss, plunging into the cool embrace of the bay below. This infiltration technique is known as helocast. A helocast is an insertion method where highly trained special operators jump from a helicopter at an altitude of approximately 15 feet above the water. That rush of adrenaline is fueling those SEALs' resolve as they execute a flawless infield. With silent determination, they're swimming towards their objective, each stroke propelling them closer to the mission's completion. Should that team be detected, the mission could be compromised, and the enemy will shut down the communications capability of the Special Operations Forces. However, through precise mission planning and communications, the SEALs emerge from the water with silent dexterity to destroy known enemy repeater nodes situated within the cabin of the tugboat you see moored to the Tampa Bay seawall. These repeater nodes were facilitating enemy cyber attacks on Tampa's communications infrastructure. As they press forward, unwavering in their commitment to duty and each other, they embody the spirit of excellence that defines these elite warriors known as SEALs. Now, folks, as a retired Green Beret, I don't know a single SEAL alive who doesn't appreciate a round of applause, so let's give it up for the SEALs. Now, all joking aside, folks, ladies and gentlemen, let me take a minute and talk a little bit about these SEALs executing this surface swim. These operators are highly skilled personnel, superbly trained in all environments, and masters of maritime special operations. They typically strike from and return to the sea. These skilled professionals are lethal, yet stealthy. and they destroyed that repeater node. They're lethal yet stealthy, which allows them to not only get the job done, but to do so without being detected, which is a task that almost impossible for larger forces to accomplish. SEALs can also operate below the surface of the water. They can remain underwater without the telltale bubbles that are typical of scuba systems. They use high-tech military-grade underwater breathing apparatus known as rebreathers. For long-distance missions, these divers would use SEAL delivery vehicles, like the one mentioned earlier that conducted the subsurface reconnaissance to quickly cover the distance to their objective. Let's give it up one more time for our SEALs from the United States and from Sweden. No rest for the weary, ladies and gentlemen. I now direct your attention to the Hillsborough River entrance behind me. As we hope for peace and tranquility, the calm is shattered by the roar of engines and the spray of salt water. An enemy boat, sleek and menacing, is cutting through the waves with deadly intent. Its crews poised for action and giving us the business. Keep your heads down over there, folks. I see a bunch of construction folks that are in the line of fire by TGH. We've got some enemy fire coming in. Oh, but here we go, folks. Standing in their path are those same two little birds coming back to engage the enemy, assisted by two formidable vessels filled with friendly forces. Folks, here in Tampa Bay, we've seen a lot of awesome river things with Gasparilla and some of our victory parades here in Tampa Bay. But I tell you what, there's nothing better than seeing those bad socars from the Special Boat Team 22. Let's give it up for SBT 22, our little birds, and our little birds from the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. I don't mind if a lot of people are mad at me, but I don't want those SBT 22 boys mad at me. That final decisive maneuver, those socars and little birds unleashed a coordinated barrage, and their firepower overwhelmed the enemy vessel in a spectacular display of strength and unity. With that deafening explosion, the enemy boat was engulfed in flames as it retreats whence it came. Its threat neutralized by the unwavering courage and steadfast resolve of our operators. As that smoke clears and the waters calm once more, the socars and little birds are victorious. Their mission accomplished, and the Tampa Bay area is safe from harm. In the face of adversity, they have proven that courage, determination, and teamwork are the ultimate weapons against any threat. Let's give it up one more time for Special Boat Team 22 and 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. Ladies and gentlemen, intelligence indicates that our fixed-wing aircraft did extensive damage to the enemy armada deep in Tampa Bay. However, a few of the enemy forces set adrift were able to avoid detection, and they commandeered a large commercial river craft and a smaller speedboat and are headed our way. Now, folks, and have rigged a dirty bomb on top of that river craft. We cannot let this happen, folks. We will disarm and remove the dirty bomb and annihilate the enemy once for all. With all the supporting elements in place, the mission commander will give the order to execute the assault on the enemy aboard the river craft. folks, as we wait on that river craft with those enemy forces that are approaching, I want to give you another quick shout out from the U.S. Special Operations Command, from General Fenton and everyone at USSOCOM, all the folks, Meg and Stu and everybody at Global SOF Foundation. Thank you for being part of SOF Week 2024. It is our amazing pleasure to live here each and every day and to be stationed here at McDill Air Force Base. And we love the opportunity to be able to share this with each and every one of you. Whether you're from this area and you're just coming down here to see it, or whether you flew in for the convention, welcome and thank you for helping us make Tampa the best place in the world. And now, folks, I'm going to direct your attention over here past American Social. If you see the Westin down here to the south, the water next to it, you can see that long river craft. And oh no, folks, I see that dirty bomb on top. Looks like a bunch of blue barrels tied together. We got to make sure that we neutralize that thing. That river craft may not be screaming at a high speed, but if it gets anywhere close to the Tampa Convention Center, we're in trouble with that dirty bomb. We've got to have some forces come help us out with this. Mission Commander, we need some help. Ladies and gentlemen, those shock cars swept back in. One more for good measure. Those shock cars swept back in, ready to go. And here comes the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. Ladies and gentlemen, amidst the chaos, a daring rescue operation is now taking place. The operators are separating into two teams. One is in the air and one is on the water. Through precise mission planning and communications, the teams will independently board the river craft. Once on board, the operators will seek the enemy. If you direct your attention to the east end of the channel, between Tampa General Hospital and Jackson's Bistro, one of those MH-6 Black Hawk helicopters from the 160th Special Operations Aviation has fast roped in an assault team. That meticulous precision they infill from in the first rescue team is called a fast rope insertion system, or FRIES, onto the roof of that river craft. This assault force consists of Special Forces operators from the United States, Slovakia, Qatar, and Poland, who will move swiftly across the roof, descend in the belly of the river craft, and engage the enemy below. Simultaneously, you saw next to the river craft at the rear, one of the SOCRs pulling up behind the river craft with a second rescue team. That rescue team was the SEALs, to include U.S. and our allies from the Netherlands, Qatar, and Poland. They are executing what we call a VBSS, or Visit, Board, Search, and Seizure, to assist the first rescue team in neutralizing the enemy. Timing is critical in a mission like this. Should the teams board too early, the mission would be compromised. Folks, within that rivercraft right now, we have 2 different assault forces that are entering and ensuring that they take down all the enemy forces. And we're also looking to recover the kitchen staff and other crew that was held hostage within that rivercraft. They're making entry and making sure they're good to go, but they're also recovering that prize rope, because spoiler alert, here in a minute, we're going to use it again for something called spies to get them all out of there, right? Now we've also got some members that are moving over there to make sure that they take a look at that dirty bomb, fully defuse it before we've got to get that thing out of here. I know you guys saw that rivercraft. It was moving as fast as it could. I don't want to have to move it that slowly out of here to get this dirty bomb away. So I think we're going to have to call in some help to be able to move this dirty bomb away from us faster so that we can get on with the rest of the show and the rest of Soft Week 2024. Right now, folks, we talked about interoperability across all of these different things. Right now, our U.S. Air Force combat controllers that are stationed on top of Tampa General Hospital, there are air traffic control for all of this. Not just our demonstration, but real-world operations like the ones you see launching a medevac from Tampa General Hospital right now. As those folks go and take off to hopefully save someone's life, let's give all of our first responders from Tampa Bay and across our country a big round of applause. Godspeed, ladies and gents. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll focus your attention back on the roof of that rivercraft, that bomb disposal team attempted and I believe did disarm that dirty bomb. Should they fully succeed, they'll need to remove it from that rivercraft to ensure there isn't a secondary trigger device which could have devastating consequences. All right, based on the fact that they're getting into PZ posture, it looks like they've succeeded, folks. Let's give them a round of applause for our bomb disposal folks that have kept us safe from this dirty bomb. But again, we got to get this thing out of here. Talking to the mission commander over here, it looks like they're calling in another helicopter. I'm going to call your attention to the channel back by Tampa General Hospital and Jackson's Bistro, where another MH-60 Blackhawk helicopter is starting to approach. Listening to the mission commander in my ear here, it sounds like they're going to sling load that dirty bomb off the roof of the rivercraft, meaning they're going to attach it to the bottom and fly it away so that we can be safe. That MH-60 is going to hover over the top of that rivercraft and lower itself to about 5 to 6 feet above the roof of the rivercraft. And as that MH-60 nears its connection point, one of the operators is going to defuse the static while a second operator reaches up and meticulously connects a sling leg to the cargo hook of the MH-60 and sling loading the dirty bomb to safety in a safe location far away. Here they come from the 166 Special Operations Aviation Regiment, another MH-60, along with our forces on the rivercraft to sling load out the dirty bomb. Let's watch. Folks, if you spend any time around Special Operations Command, you know that the 160th Special Operations Aviation pilots are the best in the entire world. They make that right there look far too easy. Most people that are watching right now can't parallel park in downtown Tampa, much less hover. Let's give it up one more time for that MH-60 from the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment as they fly that dirty bomb away somewhere safe. Maybe St. Pete. I kid. All right, folks, we got the dirty bomb out of there. Now we got to get the dirty operators off of the... No, I kid. Now we got to get our special operators off of there and the hostages that were being taken on the rivercraft. We got some kitchen staff. We got the folks that were driving the boat. Here comes the second MH-60 to do what we talked about earlier, which is called a spies extraction. Once once again, those pilots are descending over the roof of the rivercraft. This time, they're going to safely evacuate the rivercraft kitchen staff and operators via special patrol insertion extract system, allowing the operators to commandeer the rivercraft to ensure the safety of all those in harm's way. As I was saying earlier, folks, those folks from the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment or 160th Sword make this look far too easy, but is it incredibly difficult to maintain that hover directly above to be able to ensure safety for both those in the aircraft and those below. The precision and skill that they demonstrate each and every day, but especially here in this capabilities demo, is only able to be achieved by years and years and decades of training together with those machines and an amazing flight paths around the world. Now they've deployed that spies rope. Some of you have seen a demonstration before, know that these boys that are about to get jerked up into the air are about to have the best view of Tampa they've ever seen in their lives. We affectionately refer to spies on SF teams as being a dope on a rope, and you'll see why. They are going to attach to the connection points at the end of that spies rope and be able to be lifted off and carried in a great cluster formation above and beyond into the Tampa Bay blue skies. As they start to lift off and lift away after their safety checks, you'll see each operator's feet start to leave that rivercraft in sequence, and they'll hang dangling below at the bottom of the rope as they fly away into the Tampa skies. It is not the most comfortable ride you've ever been on, I can tell you from firsthand experience, but it is quite a rush, and the wind feels pretty good. Now, ladies and gentlemen, while we're waiting on them to take off, I don't know if you've ever heard of the term sea state, but if you would, just allow me to tell you a little bit about it. During sea state 0, 1, and 2, there's no white caps. However, during sea state 3, there are white caps like the ones you see there. The seas get rougher the higher the number goes. Now, you see that rotor wash is creating a sea state of 3. It's making that rivercraft drift. Folks, one of the most amazing things about being part of the Special Operations Enterprise is you've always got someone to watch your back. Doesn't matter if you were U.S. or one of our allies and partners. While we were so fixated watching those amazing guys do that spies takeoff, we had enemy attack us from below the bridge behind us. But we're lucky to have partners from the 7th Special Forces Group up there on a ground assault that were able to mow down those enemies. And our soccer teammates from Special Boat Team 22 were able to swoop in. That ground force up there consisted of not just members of the 7th Special Forces Group, but also coalition forces representing the countries of Chile, Slovakia, Japan, Qatar, and Jordan. They closed in on the enemy and foiled their sinister plans. Speaking of Jordan, I'm told the King of Jordan is in attendance today with us. Sir, Your Majesty, it's an honor to have you in our presence and have you as an ally, but most importantly, it's an honor to have you as a fellow special operator. Welcome to our wonderful city, and thank you for your partnership. Now, folks, while we set up for the next thing, indulge me a second while I brag on this demo team one more time. As impressive as today's demonstration is, it's even more impressive when you consider that special operations teams had to merge their procedures from 10 different nations, along with the United States, overcoming language barriers and choreographing this entire demonstration in 5 days. That's right, only 5 days did they work together before doing what you're seeing today. U.S. Special Operations Forces are engaged around the globe with International Special Operations Forces partners. This combined demonstration is a great opportunity to highlight the interoperability of U.S. and partner special operations in a global arena, as well as fostering relationships that can be leveraged in combat and peacetime operations. As I mentioned earlier, it's a perfect representation of what happens every day just down the road in MacDill Air Force Base at the U.S. Special Operations Command's J3 International J3I. Each and every day we have 29 foreign liaison, international liaison partners that work side by side 24/7, 365 with us in our headquarters for operations. Our partnership does not mean we'll call you when we need you. It means you're part of the team each and every day, and we're thankful for all of them. Let's give it up for all of our international folks. There's over 80 countries represented that are attending, 10 of which are helping us do this demonstration. We are incredibly thankful for our allies and partners around the world. All right, folks, we're getting a couple of reports over here at Mission Command that there's a few straggling enemy forces. We're trying to maintain total security here on this drop zone because we're about to bring in a military freefall jump from the blue skies above. So this is a great time to get your cameras out, get ready to see these awesome operators descend from their military freefall ram air parachutes. But in the meantime, I think, Mission Commander, I think we need a little bit of help because I got some enemies here and around, and I'm seeing and hearing some gunfire back and forth. We need to bring somebody in to help us out, I think. Hey, just on time, the angriest bumblebees on Earth, the AH-6 Little Birds. Let's go. Folks, I know that we've got some of the family members from some of these crews and some of the folks in the demonstration that are here today. We are so incredibly thankful to have a supportive populace. We're so incredibly grateful to have a supportive and patriotic populace here in Tampa Bay and across the United States of America. But we're especially thankful for the support of our friends and family members. Let's give it up for all of the military families that are in attendance, both current and veteran. Shout out to my wife and kids who I see over here. Baby, I love you. All right, folks, we're getting set up. We've got a C-130 who's entering our airspace and have deposited our military freefall jumpers. If you look in the air high above the Westin, you'll see those beautiful ram air parachutes have opened, and they're setting up to do their S-turns to build what we call a stack. Special Operations Forces are taught two types of military freefall: high-altitude, low-opening missions and high-altitude, high-opening missions, where we exit aircraft in flight at altitudes up to 30,000 feet above ground level. Military freefall parachutists use highly maneuverable ram air parachute systems to silently travel distances up to 50 kilometers. Military freefall parachute operations are used to infiltrate into enemy territory undetected under the cover of darkness, except today for you, or to jump into areas where aircraft simply cannot land. Those highly trained individuals conduct military freefall operations in the dead of night while fully loaded with up to 100 pounds of combat equipment and wearing specialized helmets, night vision goggles, communication systems, navigation systems, and portable oxygen systems. That MC-130 Combat Talon II aircraft from the Air Force Special Operations Command was loaded with 11 military freefall parachutists who have now all safely opened their parachutes high above the sky, above the Westin, down here on the south side of the river. These men are no ordinary parachutists. They are elite members of Special Operations units from 6 different countries: the United States, Sweden, Slovakia, Chile, Colombia, and the Czech Republic. Their training and expertise is unmatched in the face of danger. With precision and determination, they exited the ramp of that MC-130 Combat Talon II at approximately 8,000 feet above ground level. They free fell to an altitude of 5,500 feet above ground level and then deployed their main parachutes among the swirling currents of the air, their eyes fixed on the target, the middle of Tampa Bay, right in front of all of us. With impeccable timing and maneuverability, the parachutists are executing a series of S-turns to build what we call a stack, lining up behind each other at varying altitudes. They'll continue this pattern, following the low man until they execute their landings, boots first, of course, into the cool, soothing waters of Tampa Bay. Now, why is this S-turn stack thing so important that I would mention it? Well, because normally we're doing this at night. As a former freefall jumpmaster myself, I can tell you the most dangerous jumper in the sky is the one you don't see. So you think about it right now, it might be kind of easy to see your buddy who's also under a parachute next to you, but at night with no lights on, with night vision and only maybe an IR blinker, you want to make sure you see each and every person. That high man is usually our jumpmaster who's making sure they get a good head count all the way up and ensuring that everyone's built in that nice stack so that if they need to maneuver out of the burble or wind disturbance from the ram air parachute in front of them, they can. They're able to move left and right because there's no one blocking them. But they also have vertical separation, high and low, in case they need to pull their toggles to slow down or go to full flight to speed up. They maintain this and follow each other so that everyone is very predictable. We wish we had a little more of it on the Selman Expressway at times, right? I want everyone to be predictable so I know where I can turn and where I can't. I don't want to be doing defensive driving in the sky. So instead, we make sure that we're stacked up in these. Now, if you've never had the wonderful opportunity to be able to skydive, first, I recommend it, but second, I'd like to tell you a little bit about how these parachutes work, right? You see them and you kind of think of the old thing that maybe you tied a bed sheet over your head and jumped off the roof and it didn't work. Well, that's not how these parachutes work, right? When we say ram air, if you look at these parachutes as they're flying, you'll start to notice cells that run vertically over the heads of the parachutists that are attached, of course, with suspension lines. Those cells have openings at the front and the back, so as they're pitched forward, as they maintain forward speed, they inflate with air, creating a rigid wing. That wing operates much like the fixed wing that you see on the aircrafts, whether that was on the F-35 that we saw earlier, the AC-130 Juliet, or that MC-130 Combat Talon II that actually dropped these guys. As they maneuver and pull on those two toggles, if I pull on my right toggle, it dumps the flap of the back of the right side of that parachute and allows me to turn right. The further I pull it down, the further the flap dumps, the harder I turn. And also, the more altitude I'm able to carve into the sky. So as then they pull left, they're able to then pull the flap back on the left side of that parachute, creating another opportunity for them to turn, but also for a place to not just turn horizontally, but also to be able to bleed altitude and to hit the exact spot that they want. You'll see they're doing tight S-turns right now to be able to maintain their altitude above and upwind, because one of the most important things that they want to do is be able to land into the wind. That parachute goes about 18 to 30 knots forward speed depending on combat loading, and so if you imagine taking that speed and then adding it to whatever the ground wind is, you don't want to be hitting the ground no matter how hard you flare at 40 miles an hour. So they're going to stack up, then that low man's going to lead them in directly into the wind, so that again, as they lower their flaps as they go to flare, it allows them to slow, you'll see them plane out, and then you'll see them set down into the water in front of you. Now, folks, I was lucky enough during my active duty time to be able to narrate for our U.S. SOCOM parachute team, the Paracommandos. We were able to do this all over the country. I got to do it in Alabama, LSU, all these things. I've heard some loud crowds in some of these places, but there's nowhere that's better than Tampa Bay, Florida on a beautiful blue sunny day. So I guarantee you right now, as these brave men come in, they can hear you. So let's get as loud as we can and welcome back our brave special operators into the Tampa Bay. You've got a really good view now of those cells of that ram air parachute that we talked about earlier. You can see how as that high jumper right there pulls on his left toggle, he's able to dump his flap and pull left. You see how that air enters and then creates a rigid wing, but as soon as he hits the ground and his parachute deflates because he has no more forward speed, the entire thing collapses and allows him to be able to ditch that equipment and swim to the safety boats to get pulled out of the water. Now, the jump master for today's military freefall jump is an Air Force Special Tactics Combat Controller. Combat controllers are certified air traffic controllers assigned to Special Tactics Squadrons. The mission of a combat controller is to deploy undetected into combat and hostile environments to establish assault zones or airfields, while simultaneously conducting air traffic control, fire support, command and control, direct action, counterterrorism, and humanitarian assistance. Their motto as combat controllers is first there, reaffirming the combat controllers' commitment to undertake the most dangerous missions behind enemy lines by leading the way for other forces to follow. Additionally, combat controllers have been instrumental in controlling critical close air support missions in hostile territory within proximity to friendly forces. This special skill requires extensive additional training to be certified as a Joint Terminal Attack Controller, or JTAC. JTACs are typically located with the ground force commander and assist with coordinating close air support during special operations missions. Let's give it up for our jump master and all of our jump team that's recovering into those Zodiac boats. Now, while we're talking about JTACs, or those Joint Terminal Attack Controllers, our ground-to-air call for fire assets and controllers, all the Air Force coordination you see today is being controlled by one of our highly trained JTACs who's positioned on the roof of the Tampa General Hospital.
We celebrate a unified victory. Tampa and U.S. SOCOM have triumphed, safeguarding our operations center and securing the future of our beloved city. Together, we've shown bravery and solidarity in defending our turf. Our success is a testament to our Special Operations Forces' unmatched capabilities in all domains of combat. Your contributions, whether on the front lines or behind the scenes, have been invaluable. As we bask in this win, let's not get too comfy because there is still work to do. Let's remain vigilant in protecting our city and fostering our partnership with U.S. SOCOM and our allies. The enemy is on the run, and we must continue the momentum towards complete victory. Join me as we continue this fight on the shores of our enemy so Tampa will never again face the threat of pirate tyranny in our great city.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard the man. With momentum on our side, I draw your attention to the docks in front of the convention center. And on the horizon, here come our AH-6 Little Birds back into escort into victory formation. Our SOCRs from SBT-22 are maneuvering into place. a steely gaze and unwavering resolve, she's on the front of that vessel. And with a sense of hope and determination among her fellow defenders, she's going to continue to serve the residents of Tampa. Let's listen as the boat engines roar to life and the boat cuts through the water with precision and speed. The mayor stands tall at the helm, a beacon of leadership and courage. Behind her, a V formation of boats and helicopters, their engines humming in unison as they prepare to take the fight to the enemy. Let's give it up for our V formation and the mayor of Tampa. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the 2024 Soft Week Capabilities Demonstration. Feel free to approach any one of our Special Operations Warriors to look at their equipment and ask them a few questions as they return to the Tampa Convention Center area. Again, my name is Matt Parrish. Thank you for letting me walk you through today's demo as your Master of Ceremonies. Swing by and say hello at the Task Force Dagger Special Operations Foundation booth in the community corridor on level 1 in the Tampa Convention Center. On behalf of the Commander of the United States Special Operations Command, we thank you for your attendance today, and especially the City of Tampa for hosting this event. May God bless you all, and may God bless the United States of America and our allies.